Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we are taking a trip to one of the most remote, desolate, and extreme environments on our entire planet, Antarctica. Now, for decades, scientists have operated under a pretty logical assumption about the frozen continent. They basically believe that if you dig deep enough, past the freezing temperatures, past the crushing weight of the ice, and down into the pitch black, you'd eventually just hit a dead zone, a place where absolutely nothing could survive. But today, we're looking at a groundbreaking discovery that completely shatters that assumption. We are going to look at an unbelievable hidden animal community, thriving right where the world's top experts expected to find absolute nothingness.
Okay, let's dive into this incredible contradiction. You see, biology has rules, right? Life generally requires certain basic building blocks to flourish, mostly sunlight and a reliable food web. Because of this, scientists genuinely expected to find only darkness and barren rock beneath Antarctica's thick ice. But instead, as this quote beautifully captures, they discovered an entire community of animals living in complete isolation. We're talking about an ecosystem totally cut off from the rest of the world, quietly existing against all known odds. So, how did we actually find them?
That brings us to Section 1, the Filchner-Ronne Ice Shelf, and setting up the drill.
To really understand this discovery, you kind of have to picture the setting. The Filchner-Ronne Ice Shelf is this massive, unforgiving expanse of frozen water extending out over the ocean. It is brutal out there. Simply getting equipment to this spot is a monumental achievement, and out on this desolate ice shelf, we have a highly specialized drilling team. We've got Dr. Griffiths leading the charge, Engineer Tom managing the complex machinery, and marine biologist Emma, who is there to analyze whatever data they manage to pull up. Together, they're preparing to lower a specialized camera through a borehole they've drilled straight down through the ice cap. They are literally dropping a high-tech eye into the complete unknown.
You can just feel the quiet anticipation on the ice as Dr. Griffiths checks the camera feed one last time and asks the team, ready to lower it? Keep in mind, this is a totally routine procedure for these researchers. They're really just looking to map the seafloor, maybe grab some geological data, analyze some sediment. Nobody is expecting to make history here. Engineer Tom nods his confirmation, and the descent begins.
Let's move to Section 2, 900 meters into darkness, and see how this builds. 900 meters. Just let that number sink in for a second. That is almost a full kilometer of solid, crushing, opaque ice sitting right above the ocean down there. The camera isn't just dropping into cold water. It is dropping into a completely sealed-off world. Imagine the intense claustrophobia of that environment. There's no weather down there, no ocean waves, absolutely zero light from the sun. Just an impenetrable 900-meter physical barrier separating the seafloor from the world above us.
And because of that massive barrier, marine biologist Emma actually smiles and says, "Let's see an empty seafloor." And honestly, you can't blame her. This isn't pessimism, it's exactly what the science dictates. When you are sealed off beneath 900 meters of ice, there shouldn't be anything to look at besides dirt and stone. The whole team is fully braced for a completely dead, lifeless environment at this extreme depth.
So, the operation proceeds exactly as planned. The camera slowly descends through that narrow borehole. Once it clears the ice and hits the water, the team is watching the monitor back on the surface and, yep, it reveals mud. The camera pans slightly, more rocks. Just mud, rocks, and nothing unusual. It is a slow, deliberate look at exactly what they expected, a barren, frozen wasteland.
But here is where this routine geological expedition suddenly turns into a groundbreaking scientific anomaly. Section 3, an impossible discovery. And the twist.
The team is staring at this boring feed of mud and rocks, right? When suddenly Emma gasps in the control room. She leans into the monitor and says, "Wait, zoom in!" Something on the screen has just disrupted the endless, empty seafloor. There's a shape, a texture, just something that absolutely does not belong in a lifeless void.
Engineer Tom leans closer to the screen. His eyes go wide as the camera focus sharpens, and he just blurts out, "Those are animals!" The pacing and energy in that room must have spiked instantly. I mean, think about it. They are looking at a live feed from a place where life is supposed to be biologically impossible, and yet, staring right back at them on the monitor is undeniable proof of life.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer shock of that moment. On one side, we have what they expected to find: mud, rocks, and absolutely nothing unusual. But instead, side B. They actually found this. Attached firmly to a boulder were strange sponge-like creatures, and right alongside them, tiny stalked organisms were actually swaying in the deep, dark ocean current. These aren't just microscopic bacteria we're talking about. These are complex, visible animals firmly established in an ecosystem that shouldn't exist.
Which leads us to Section 4, the survival mystery, and how these creatures are defying the odds. Because, honestly, finding them is only the first part of the shock. Explaining how they are still alive is a whole different puzzle.
As the images come rolling through, Dr. Griffiths looks at the screen, completely stunned, and asks the core, unresolved mystery of this entire explainer. How are they surviving here? It is the ultimate question. You have stationary animals attached to a rock. They can't just swim around looking for a drive-through. They have to wait for the environment to provide for them. But what exactly is the environment providing?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is when you break down the harsh realities these creatures are facing. First up, there is absolutely no sunlight. That means zero photosynthesis. If there's no photosynthesis, that brings us to the second point, no plants. If there are no plants, our third bullet point becomes a massive problem. There is no obvious food source. No algae, no plankton blooms, literally nothing that usually forms the base of a marine food web. And lastly, they've been trapped beneath this ice for thousands of years. They haven't just wandered in. They've been surviving and maintaining a community in this pitch-black freezer for millennia.
Emma perfectly summarizes the shattered scientific assumptions when she whispers in the control room, "We thought this place was lifeless." This one boulder, with its weird sponges and swaying stalked creatures, totally forces us to rethink the extreme limits of biology. Life didn't just find a way to exist here, it found a way to establish an entire community.
And I want to be super clear about where the science currently stands on this. It is an active mystery. Scientists still do not know exactly how these creatures get enough food to survive. The basic food chain of this isolated environment is completely unknown to us. Are they feeding on dead matter slowly drifting hundreds of miles under the ice? Are they using some bizarre, unknown chemical process? We simply do not have the answers yet. That unresolved mystery naturally leads us to Section 5. What else is hidden? Let's talk about the broader implications of this incredible discovery to wrap things up.
So the crucial point is this. An ecosystem nobody expected to exist is out there, right now, thriving in complete isolation. And remember, this wasn't some massive continent-wide sweep. This was one camera, dropped down one tiny hole onto one random boulder in the absolute darkness. And right there, life was waiting for us. It shows an unparalleled resilience of nature beneath almost a kilometer of solid ice.
Which leaves us with one final, deeply fascinating thought to take away today. If life can thrive beneath nearly a kilometer of Antarctic ice, completely cut off from the sun and the world as we know it, what other hidden worlds are waiting beneath the frozen continent? How many other impossible ecosystems are out there in the dark, just waiting for us to drill the right hole? It really makes you look at our planet in a whole new way, doesn't it? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll see you next time.